Mercedes leads both championships, yet the team may already be preparing an engine response that only comes when a rival gets too close. Kimi Antonelli has put the W17 at the center of the title fight, but Ferrari has changed the mood. Its first power unit update is already running, more development is expected, and Mercedes is being linked with a fresh engine step for Monza. Nothing is confirmed yet, but Ferrari may have forced Mercedes into a move it never planned this early. Mercedes leads Ferrari by 72 points, while Antonelli sits 50 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Reliability has already shown how quickly those numbers can change. The same regulations that gave Ferrari greater development freedom also opened a smaller opportunity for Mercedes after Red Bull powertrains set the early engine benchmark. Something Mercedes might have saved for later could suddenly become necessary now. The question is whether Mercedes should use that opportunity immediately and accept the consequences later. Ferrari is linked with another important Monza step, while Mercedes has a larger aero package planned deeper into the season. If both programs work, the balance could shift quickly. So did Mercedes copy Ferrari, or did Ferrari force the championship leader to change direction? First, that comfortable-looking advantage needs a closer look. Mercedes reached the closing stages in Barcelona with Kimi Antonelli running second. Then the W17 stopped. An electrical shutdown ended a race that Formula One estimated cost him 18 points. George Russell had already lost a likely Canada victory through a battery problem, while Antonelli suffered another costly issue at Silverstone. Mercedes remains ahead, but those lost finishes expose a weakness outright speed cannot solve. Toto Wolff has admitted Mercedes cannot fight cleanly for the championship while major points disappear. Russell's Canada retirement was estimated to cost 25 points, while Antonelli potentially lost another 18 points at Silverstone. Hungary brought another warning. Russell dropped deep into the field after anti-stall triggered, while Lando Norris won and Max Verstappen finished second. Mercedes had pace, but its rivals were ready to punish every problem. Ferrari and McLaren do not need to dominate every weekend. They only need to remain close enough to collect the points Mercedes leaves behind. Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, Norris, and Verstappen have made the front crowded enough for one poor weekend to matter heavily. The standings hide how exposed Mercedes can become, and the reason Mercedes can still improve its engine makes the situation even stranger. Red Bull produced the benchmark combustion engine in the first duo assessment, yet the RB22 was not the strongest complete car. The FIA does not judge manufacturers through race wins or top speed alone. Its performance index studies the combustion engine using factors including torque and engine speed. Mercedes reportedly fell more than 2% behind the benchmark, while Ferrari crossed the 4% threshold, opening development opportunities for both. Mercedes gained another homologation opportunity, while Ferrari received greater freedom because its measured deficit was larger. That does not guarantee instant speed. Engineers still have to create the performance and keep it reliable. A manufacturer can also have the strongest combustion engine without producing the fastest complete car, because electrical performance, energy deployment, and aero efficiency still matter. Ferrari therefore gained another route to attack its weaknesses. Its first development step has already reached the car, but the bigger opportunity comes from combining improved power with a chassis that has shown real cornering strength. A duo did not suddenly fix Ferrari. It simply gave Maranello more freedom to develop. What Ferrari built around that opportunity is where Mercedes' real concern begins. Ferrari has shown why the SF26 does not need a complete transformation to threaten Mercedes. In Barcelona, Lewis Hamilton missed George Russell's pole by only 0.064 seconds, while Charles Leclerc said Ferrari was strongest through almost every corner during his best Q2 lap. Ferrari's challenge has been completing the whole lap when power delivery and energy use become more important. Reduce that weakness, and Mercedes has less room to escape. Ferrari also created rear performance through a layout rivals cannot simply bolt onto another car. The SF26 places its differential 6 centimeters behind the rear axle line, creating extra space around the diffuser and rear bodywork. Ferrari uses that area to influence airflow toward the rear wing. Copying it would require major transmission changes, meaning Mercedes cannot simply reproduce the concept between races. Ferrari's first confirmed power unit step arrived in Austria, with Enrico Gualtieri describing development as a series of stages rather than one miracle update. More power could give Hamilton and Leclerc greater freedom with wing levels while reducing their straight-line vulnerability. The real threat is not one horsepower figure. It is an already strong cornering car becoming more complete. That is why Mercedes' response matters. Mercedes is no longer treating the W17 like a car that needs only small corrections. Simone Resta has confirmed that something more sizable is coming after the summer break. The larger package is confirmed. The engine story is not. Reports continue to connect Mercedes with a fresh power unit specification around Monza, but the team has not officially announced it. The rumor matters because the Mercedes power unit relies heavily on electrical performance. Its MGU-K can produce up to 350 kilowatts, making deployment and energy management crucial. But extra performance means little if reliability suffers, and electrical problems have already cost Mercedes significant points. Any new specification has to improve speed without opening another weakness. Mercedes therefore has two development paths. One is the larger aero package Resta has discussed. The other is the possible Monza engine step. Reports have also connected the chassis package with the Malaysia or Singapore period. Nothing guarantees success, but Mercedes is clearly willing to keep reshaping its package. Those decisions may influence much more than the current championship. Max Verstappen could influence the 2027 driver market, even though his Red Bull contract runs through 2028. Laurent Mekies has admitted strong drivers are asking about seats, while Red Bull wants to continue with Verstappen and Isack Hadjar. Hadjar is now in his second Formula One season and has strengthened his position. Oscar Piastri remains tied to McLaren, while George Russell expects to stay with Mercedes. Fernando Alonso creates another pressure point because his Aston Martin driving deal ends after this season. His 2027 racing plans remain open. Carlos Sainz therefore remains interesting, although he is still with Williams and no Aston Martin agreement exists. Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas already have multi-year Cadillac deals, while Alpine has Pierre Gasly secured through 2028, and Franco Colapinto remains part of its current evaluation. Gabriel Bortoleto is in his second season beside Nico Hülkenberg at Audi, while Ollie Behrman remains with Haas on a multi-year deal. Racing Bulls has been linked with Formula 2 contender Nikola Tsolov, but no 2027 seat has been agreed. Much of the market remains possibility rather than fact. Drivers are watching which projects genuinely improve, and Monza could soon expose another factor they cannot ignore. Monza could turn an engine upgrade into a championship gamble. Each driver can use only 4 combustion engines and 4 turbochargers without penalty, while only 3 MGU-Ks are available. Exceeding an allocation for the first time can trigger a 10 grid place penalty. Fresh hardware can therefore increase performance now while creating a sporting cost later. Monza is also a circuit where taking that risk can make sense. Its long straights reward power and efficient deployment, while overtaking makes recovering from a poor grid position easier. If Ferrari converted a fresh specification into a 1-2 finish, it could collect 43 points. Mercedes would then have to decide whether protecting component life remains safer than responding immediately. There is still no evidence Mercedes copied Ferrari's engine or SF26 rear concept. The similarity is strategic. Ferrari has chosen to use its development freedom while the championship remains open, and Mercedes may decide to do the same. The contest is about timing, not imitation. Whichever team uses its remaining opportunities better could control the final part of the season. Zandvoort will give the championship its first major test after the summer break. Lando Norris arrives after winning in Hungary, Max Verstappen returns home, and Kimi Antonelli carries the pressure of protecting Mercedes. Aston Martin also brings Honda's revised power unit for Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll after the AMR26 showed progress in Hungary. Weather could complicate the comparison. Showers are possible across the weekend, potentially turning Zandvoort into a test of tire calls and execution rather than pure pace. McLaren wants to prove Hungary was not isolated. Verstappen has another chance to maximize Red Bull, while Aston Martin needs evidence that Honda's step works under pressure. Mercedes and Ferrari will be studying everything before Monza. Monza is where power delivery and efficiency become much harder to hide. If Ferrari's next development step arrives there and Mercedes responds with the specification currently being discussed, the title fight becomes a direct technical contest. Nothing is settled. The team that turns development into reliable race performance will control what happens next. Zandvoort starts the test, but Monza may reveal who has truly taken control.